in January of 1974, Michael was approached by two of my contemporaries, Michonne Peacock and Tony Stevens, because of the time, dancers, Broadway dancers. They wanted to do something about dancers, with dancers, for dancers, some sort of workshop, get something going so that we could maybe develop if we had other talents. They decided to go to Michael.
Yeah.
Because they thought Michael could, back it financially. Well, Michael took the ball and ran with it. And do you know what happened? A chorus line was born that first tape session. It was born that night. He asked us about what it was, our earliest recollections of being a dancer, frustrations, our hopes, our dreams, everything that chorus line talks about. It happened that night. And then there was one more tape session. Then he did it 3 weeks later. There was a second one. Look at what Michael did. I mean, all you have to do is put two and two together.
Yeah.
He made us all anonymous, non-entities, faceless in Seesaw, and then he turned it around.
Yeah.
And he put us in the spotlight. What a gift! What a gift!
What role were you in London then?
Val.
And then when you went back to New York, did you take
Oh,
over
Val. I
Yeah.
did Val forever.
Mitzi did Val how many years?
Like 10 or 10 at the Schubert in New York.
Yeah.
10 plus a little bit in London, and almost 11 years.
Isn't that great? 11 years. Have you ever played any other parts in chorus?
Yes, I played Sheila in Europe.
Sheila?
I graduated, and Michael.
Sheila's here.
Michael said, I asked forever and a day in New York if I could at least understudy it. And I
You know what I bet he
no,
said
because
no?
I wasn't told.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You were not talking about for Sheila.
Michael brought me into the Chicago to do Chicago chorus line when it first opened here, because he knew I was from Chicago.
And that year was
79.
79.
Because I was at the Schubert in New York doing a
Yeah.
chorus line, playing Val, and he called me one day and asked if I would like to do that, and I said absolutely. So he brought me in for 6 weeks. Standing on that line felt like I was naked.
Yeah.
Naked. Because in that tape session, when Michael turned it on and we went one at a time, in retrospect, yes, we were telling our stories, but Michael was up and coming big time on Broadway. And whatever he was gonna do, we all wanted to be involved. I remember thinking, oh God, I hope I get it.
Yeah. Which is the nature of it, isn't
Which
it?
is what happened there is what he put on the stage.
Yeah.
Michael would then sit down with, each company separately at different times, obviously, and he would start asking questions, and he wanted to recreate more or less what happened at that tape session. And he would ask a question, and nobody had an answer, nobody said anything. He'd look over at me and he'd say, Mitzi. And I'd go, and I'd quake and think, oh, and I'd freeze up. In a chorus line, when we finally got on the line, and he would go down the line right in front of us, and he'd make us do our names. And I would be so nervous about it, and I thought, wait a minute. I really want to do this. I really want to work with him. I really want to be able to, do the work. And so I gotta cool it. I gotta relax. What I did was, in my mind, because Michael was a year older than me, I thought if I had come to New York a couple of years earlier, I bet we would have been dancing, I bet we would have been chorus kids together in a Broadway show. And so I I took him off the pedestal and I put him on my level. So when he got here in front of me, I just gave it to him. When he knew that he couldn't intimidate you, he loved it. And that's when we became, you know, he used to say, do it like Mitzi! Do it like Mitzi. There's, well, the character Val is part of my story. That character was based on my story and Pam Blair, who played the part originally. So the monologue basically was her story, and the song is basically my story. How many weeks have you been in rehearsal, and how many weeks do you have left? Are you almost there yet?
We're
2 more weeks.
How many weeks are we in? 4? 5? 5? 5 weeks in, 2 more left.
Okay,
2 weeks.
so, are you in a good place? Are you scared? I mean, are you scared?
Yes and yes.
Yes and
Yes.
yes.
They're in a good place and they're scared.
Yeah, but you know, once it all comes together, it's very fulfilling. Yeah, I mean, it's a dream, isn't it, to
1 minute.
live your dream?
To live your dream. I think that's the theme of the night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mitzi Hamilton, ladies and gentlemen.